Hi artist. So I'm going to start on my final Zentangle design. I have my practices here as reference because I'm going to use some of these. Remember, you did not have to do 9. I did 9 because I'm a little extra. So what I have here is a piece of paper. Ta-da! And let me adjust my light real quick. There we go. So I have my piece of paper, and what I did, it was just like a piece of copy paper. I really like to do this on a square. And so I did the thing where you fold it in a triangle and then folded this line here. And then, you know, if you crease it both directions and like really do the crease, you can actually tear the paper really well. So there's my torn edge. So I have a square to work on now, and this will flatten back out. Okay, so to do my Zentangle, what I like to start out with is what they call a string. And so a string is, I'm going to start this in pencil. That is where you just kind of break up your paper with a continuous line. I'm going to maybe connect here. You want your string to have at least 5 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm good. Because remember, we need to have 5 different Zentangles. And you also want it to use most of the paper. Like, I'm not going to draw some little thing right in the middle because then I'm going to have to draw teeny tiny patterns, and that's going to be super annoying. So got my string, and then it's in these spaces where I will put my Zentangles. You can draw these in pencil, but if you plan to use a pen or a black marker or Sharpie on it, I would just start right in with that. It saves you a lot of time, and sometimes I find students have a tendency to, if they draw theirs in pencil first, that sometimes the drawings get really small and the details are small, and it's hard to go back over with a Sharpie. So let's see, look at some of my patterns. I think that the first one I want to do is this one because it is so cool. So sometimes you're gonna have to adapt these a little bit because I drew that in a square. I don't really have a square here to draw in. But let's see, I think I'll use this smallish space up here, and I'm going to draw a square or rectangle inside of that space. Okay, so we'll start there. I might end up having 2 of these shapes to fill it in. So then remember, this is how I did this one. So when we do this in the classroom, a lot of times students will really want to use rulers for things. And I'm always saying, like, you don't need a ruler, you just need to focus on it. And I mean, if you have a ruler or straight edge at home, you're welcome to do that. But I will say again, you don't need a ruler, you just need to focus on it. You can probably draw a straighter line than you think you can. And also, unlike op art, these don't require your lines to be perfectly straight. That's kind of the thing with the Zentangles. I just did the same thing, but with a triangle. So I'm gonna make sure that this all gets filled in. All right, so now I have, let's see, maybe do one more here. And here. So I'm just making sure I fill in the whole space. And this one, kind of by its nature, all of my lines are going to be sort of the same. So I'll work on that line variation in a different space. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I want to do this one next. So I showed how to do all of these step by step in the video that's on your faster task. So if you want to learn these particular tangles, you can do that. With all Zentangles, the idea is that you're starting with pretty simple patterns and then you keep adding on to them, and that's what makes them look really cool and really complex. The Zen part of it is because the people who came up with this idea of doing these Zentangle patterns, they felt like they were like calming to do, maybe almost like meditative to do. The Zentangle project is one of the few times in 8th grade art when at some point everyone is quiet and working, and I've never told them to be quiet. It's just because you kind of really get into drawing these patterns. I'm going to go ahead and go into time-lapse mode so you can see more of this done faster with less of me randomly talking about when we talk. All right. Okay, well, here's my finished Zentangle. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different patterns. I'm sort of counting this all as one because it was a repeating thing, but really it's a lot of patterns. It's all in ink. I have different thicknesses of line based on how much pressure I used with my marker, and just try to give it some interest. So I hope that you enjoy doing this as much as I enjoy doing this. As you can tell, I just sat here and did the whole thing. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Bye.